Like the guy has an actual job, just recording debates. So
Oh
even
my god.
Vaughn,
Okay.
the
Okay,
guy,
okay.
wait,
Let us start.
the guy
So,
taking money.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. I'll just take the approach that dualist position rejecting physicalism. Um. Yeah, and he's gonna be taking the agnostic position on dualism. So should I like give
So,
out the
wait,
argument?
wait. Let me clear something. When I say I'm
Mm-hmm.
agnostic on the position, I think that there's no compelling evidence for me to believe in dualism, the mind-body dualism. So,
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
which version of dualism do you hold to? Is it
I mean,
Descartes'
I could
dualism, or it's some sort of proprietary version of dualism? Which one?
I could I could take property or substance dualism, but regardless, all I'm just trying to argue is that it rejects physicalism, which yeah, okay.
Okay,
So
you got a formally valid argument for that.
yeah, I will
Just
give a firmly valid argument, but let's just make this clear real quick. So with definitions, right, dualism argues negation towards a material reality being that the entire worldview that everything is physical and stuff like that. So the argument
yeah.
for
Wait.
yeah.
Uh,
So basically, physicalism just argues, everything can be reduced to physical state of affairs. Do you think that this will be
no,
a
no.
proper
Wait.
definition?
No, physicalism doesn't. It depends on which type of physicalism you're talking about. Is it mind physicalism or metaphysical physicalism? There's a difference. The mind physicalism argues that all mental states are identical to physical states. Metaphysical physicalism argues that everything is physical. There's a difference between both.
Well, yeah, but like I'm mostly just gonna reject the idea. Well, everything is, like how they say it's like everything can be reduced to all physical state of affairs, which is why mostly what physicalism depends on. So if I were to say that the mind is immaterial and cannot be reduced to any physical state of affairs, then yeah, I would negate or reject physicalism as for what I view for. And should I give an argument for that one?
Yeah, yes. Just copy
Okay,
pasted in general thing.
right. So all
Yeah,
right, so I would
just
like to give out my argument, and then you may be able to give a refutation afterwards. Okay,
okay, okay.
I hope that's
Let
okay.
let me
So,
read let me read the argument first. A mind can hold thoughts
okay,
and imagine scenarios in
I kind of want
external.
to yap on the argument, so I'll just yap while you can read. Is that okay with you?
The mind can hold thoughts and imagine scenarios external and independent of our physical reality. Immaterial things is defined to external to our physical material
Yeah, so P1, the mind can hold thoughts and imagine scenarios external and independent of
mind.
our physical reality. I think we can say this is analytically true, right? Because, like, if you were to imagine, for example, electrons existing or unicorn fucking like a Santa Claus and stuff like that, that type of retarded shit, right? That these kids believe nowadays, right? These thoughts or scenarios that are completely independent and external to our physical reality, thus implying, like, subjective worldviews or stuff like that.
Um,
And, when the mind conjures these components, it's obviously relational to the mind's properties. The P2 immaterial thing is defined to be external to our physical material realities and thus is immaterial. So if it is sense that the mind conjures thoughts external and independent, obviously this will relate to it being external to material realities. P3, this is pretty self-explanatory. The mind then has immaterial components from P2 to P1. Then in conclusion, if the mind is material, it's logically possible for it to have physical material components. That's contradict physicalism. I would like to also add up the fact that while the qualia, the things that we have substance for, like every human being, their personal view or and stuff like that, their own consciousness, etc., all of this, it isn't relied to subjective experiences or subjective worldviews. And when it comes to all of these, should have never been explained like with all physical state of like physical science and stuff like that. Thus, in a relational, be against physical state of affairs. And it would say that since the physical world, which is material reality, is like the objective world, objective kinds of like how do I say this? Objective modes of existence. For example, an apple existing physically, obviously there's an objective case, but we're talking about the mind conjuring subjective views, completely negating objective things. So we cannot really connect. How do I say? We cannot really say that something subjective can be, reduced to physical state of affairs. That being in relation to it being an objective material reality. So like, yeah, that's pretty much my argument.
okay,
You can give out your argument, man.
so um, let's see P1, P2. I I I reject P1, and the reasons behind that is that it's basically the you said. the the mind can imagine scenarios independent of our physical reality. Um, does that mean physical reality means a spatio-temporal location or an aspatial and atemporal location? Which one are you holding to? Yeah, because
I
the physical
mean, I
reality
mean,
that's
okay.
within the spatio-temporal location is material, or are
Yeah.
you talking about things that subsist? I mean, exist in an aspatial or atemporal location? Which ones are you talking about?
Well, yeah. Well, when we talk about the material reality, we're obviously saying that the material reality is spatial and temporal. Well, if we're going against that, it will be non-physical in a sense, aspatial and atemporal. So what I'm saying here is, while the thoughts is just like, it's completely disconnected. Because like the example I gave or the analogy I gave, right, that you can hold thoughts, you can hold scenarios or imagine scenarios that is just like completely just doesn't like correlate with the physical reality at all or the material reality. Is this
Um,
example what I gave with leprechauns, unicorns, fucking Santa Claus, or like you like beat your meat and then lava comes out of your dick or stuff like that. Yeah,
uh,
that shit clearly doesn't follow the nomic laws within the universe. So
uh,
yeah, I
yes,
guess.
I do agree that those things don't exist in the actual world. But if you take a um, model realist view, the view that all possible worlds are real, they may exist in one possible because there's no logical contradiction in things like unicorns existing. And for us thinking about them, um, under the Quinian view, I would say, when we think about a unicorn, we just think about a horse with a horn. We know what a horse is and what horns look like. We just sum up the entire thing and imagine it. But
Okay.
that doesn't entail um, what what
Uh,
substance dualism.
Okay, look, I'll agree with you, right? That these specific mental thoughts or like scenarios can, in fact, correspond to possible worlds, like external to our, the main world that we are in at, right? I agree with you on that one. But here's the thing: that the thing with the mind imagining these scenarios is just completely external to what the possible world or those model worlds that completely have the same existence that if thoughts of those things that we what was retarded as wonder. But I'm just gonna make this clear. For example, Santa Claus clearly doesn't exist in our physical world. That's true. But if you say in the possible world, he exists in that possible world, sure. But right, while your mind imagines Santa Claus existing, it's still a separate thing. It's still disconnected from that possible world. It's not implying that if the mind, imagines the same scenarios, doesn't imply that the scenarios are connected. So it would imply that the mind can be in regards to be connected to the physical state of affairs and stuff like that. So it won't even be indexical. But yeah, you can go ahead and give an argumentation against this.
I mean, when we talk about things like Santa Claus or objects that don't exist in the physical world, we're talking about a thing that has characteristics, aka so sane but no sane. Are you familiar with Meinongian object theory?
No. Do you mind educating me on that one?
So Meinongian object theory asserts that uh, things things so sane, aka characteristics, are are different from its sane, aka being. So um, when we talk about being, we talk about what there is, what exists. So, um, so things like Santa Claus or unicorns, they have a so sane, aka characteristics, since we can conceive or express or make statements about them, make true statements about them, and under a Meinongian view, they have a so sane, aka characteristics slash properties, but they have no sane, they have no being, they don't correspond to the physical reality, etc. So we can make statements about it, but that doesn't entail our minds are non-physical. And whatever, any
Well,
contentions to that?
yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing with the Santa Claus thing. Yeah, we say that they have characteristics, and you can say that their whole being isn't really, connected to the physical reality. But here's the thing with characters such as Santa Claus, unicorns, and stuff. They don't exist within our physical realities because they contradict the nomic laws that we are right at, like the nomological laws. But when it comes to possible worlds, there could be nomological laws completely distinct from ours. If in regards that if Santa Claus and unicorns don't have contradictory properties or propositions, that implies that they can exist in those possible worlds. Yeah, yeah, we can agree on that one, right? So, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying completely. If when the mind is like conjuring scenarios completely distinct from physical reality, but if it exists in a possible world, right, it would still imply that one, that if the mind is immaterial and is completely not connected to that physical reality that we are in, it then implies that it cannot be reduced to physical state of affairs. The possible world where that specific imaginary scenarios exist at is just completely distinct from how the thoughts conjure these minds. That's just what I'm arguing. But yeah, it's just implying that since the mind's independent to the physical reality, and it implies the scenarios completely is subjective and doesn't correspond to the objective material reality. It just like means that, well, yeah, this just supports my argumentation and my stance of dualist. But yeah, I guess that's gonna be my refutation. What would be your contentions on this one?
So, are you familiar with the functionalist view on the mind? Hello.
Functionalist view on the mind. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rusty on knowledge. Like, please don't make fun of me on this one. But like, I haven't been debating for a while, so I kind of forgot half the shit that I just studied. So you might as well just educate me on that one too.
So, the functionalist view on the mind asserts that. So, you do agree with the fact that we are just made of chemical reactions, atoms, etc., etc. But what, sorry, but what makes us have a conscious is that how these things are arranged and how the how the neural networks are formed in our mind. Let's say when we experience pain, which is a phenomenal state, um, it is just C fibers firing in our brains, and the functionalist view is consistent with neuroplasticity. Yeah, so you know what neuroplasticity is. I can send you a screenshot of that. Wait, let me send you something.
Okay, so yeah, are you saying that the neurons activity that is in corresponds to the mind implies that the mind can be reduced to physical state of affairs?
Yes,
Is that like
I mean,
okay?
so this is what allows us to imagine things like the unicorn, the things that have characteristics but no saying of being. Wait, read this.
Right. Okay, let me just see this. Neuroplasticity is the brain's remarkable capacity to recognize itself by forming, modifying, and strengthening neural connections. In response to both internal experience and external stimuli, how hysterically revealed is largely confined to early development. All right, but here's the thing, though, right? When we're talking about neurons activity when it comes to the brain, and it's relational to the brain's like, or like the mind's
So
in regards to the brain, for example, like you say, oh, I remember this, but then next time if I get fucking dementia that affects my neurons activities of my brain, I would literally forget that same thing, right? But here's the thing, though. It's just gonna be implicative, right? When we're talking about property dualism, that the mind and the brain can be connective, right? You can have a connections between non-physical and physical things. We can say the soul is not physical, but has a connection to the physical body that we have. But in regards to properties, they're completely external. And here's the thing: all my
uh,
argumentation
wait,
is
wait.
that
Yeah,
physicalism just
you just
argues.
said the properties are external. Do you hold to the conceptual Platonic realism view or the nominalism view?
I'm just saying that since it's external to something, right, that it doesn't have the same properties of the same thing. But when it comes to subsistence, then you can say, oh, this thing subsists with this thing and stuff like that. But just like in a view when it comes to the soul, the body, the mind, and the body. Yeah.
I see. So wait.
This is really funny. Loki, I love this nigga Don, bro. He's my favorite femboy. But anyways, I'll just give out the argumentation again. So the oh no.
Yes.
When we've gone to neurons activity, right, with the mind, what I'm exactly saying is that what if the mind has the properties that is not reduced to physical state of affairs, and the mind's capabilities and thus to imagine this is not reduced to physical state of affairs. Meaning, right, that the entire view of physicalism is that everything is physical, right? Everything
No,
can be
no,
reduced to
no.
physical
Wait,
state of
wait, wait.
affairs. Right?
I just said no. I don't personally hold to metaphysical physicalism, the view that everything is physical. I hold to mind physicalism specifically. The
But I
mental
just
states.
argue like, physicalism just at bare minimum, right? At bare minimum, physicalism just argue everything can be reduced to physical state of affairs, right? It doesn't have to relate to physicality when it comes to properties, but it can be relating towards that all of these can be reduced to physical facts or like physical science, etc. But with the thing with the mind being completely independent to the physical reality, and if you were to say, oh, neurons explain all of these, the neurons activity would define how these activities within the mind works. But here's the thing: none of them actually corresponds to or explains the entirety as to how the mind and the body well connects. Doesn't have in regards it contradicts each other. For example, mind having subjective experiences, right, and the body and the material world has objective existences, and it doesn't have any regards to subjective views. And there have been multiple sciences, right, and scientific views on the models of the mind that says that okay, um the mind is having subjective experiences, subjective beliefs, and subjective thoughts. None of this has been fully explained when it comes to a philosophical view or a complete view as to why, okay, how is this in the case, right? How is this actually correspondence with this reality? How does this occur, right? We have a being believing that God exists. We have another being who believes God doesn't exist. We have another being who tastes ice cream and doesn't like it, right? We have another being who tastes ice cream but likes it. If we say the ice cream is sweet from both parties, right? The other guy just doesn't like sweet, but it tastes the same way to the other guy. But the guy likes sweets and this guy doesn't like sweets, right? Nobody has been able to explain, right, that how do these subjective experiences was being able to influence every individual human being. And it doesn't regards because of the fact physical science has never been proven to show justification as to why, the subjective mind, subjective viewpoints, subjective experiences completely just external to what the physical reality posits. So yeah.
So yeah, so basically you're saying that means sentient beings have subjective experience that entails there exists an immaterial mind. That's basically what you're trying to say.
Well, yeah. I guess in bare minimum, yeah. I guess basically.
I mean, like I said, um, neural connections are things that subjective experience can fail. Uh, have you heard of phenomenal conservatism?
Wait, so I'm just wondering, when it comes to like neuron activities, are you saying this completely explains subjective experiences? Because like I'm gonna have to disagree on that one. Because when we say like in science, well, they explain how
Subjective
uh
ex- when we talk about subjective experience, we say, let's say one person likes one thing, another person likes another thing, and we know that everyone doesn't view the world the same way as we do. Like when we talk about colorblind people, they perceive colors differently. So
mhm.
yes, um,
Yeah, okay, but the thing here
that
is with like
that
that
thing is
doesn't
purely
regard.
those things can be explained by how the physical structure of that certain person, like um, the neuron activities in certain cases when the neuron activity is abnormal, or things like sex-linked disorders can cause this subject different subjective experiences. So I don't think an
Okay,
immaterial mind is necessary to explain those things.
okay, so right, I'll just go. I'll just here's the thing. What I'm saying, like earlier, I said that we have to disagree with the fact that neuron activities kind of explains all of these subjective experiences. Where let's just go back to what you said earlier, okay? You said, all right. So when we talk about neuroplasticity, recognize itself by forming, modifying, and setting neural corrections in response to both external experience and external stimuli. So basically, its argumentation is simple. The neuron activities kind of explains how, or like the neuroplasticity kind of explains how, well, the internal experiences correlates to the development of said individual. But here's the thing. Well, like we're trying to say is that when we're talking about subjective experiences as a whole, we're talking about its complete um model in a sense, like how like solving the complete model when it comes to subjective experiences. The argumentation is, oh, because of this neural activity and when it comes to like physical facts and in regards to the mind independence, right, it says that okay, all of these are somewhat connected, but it would just say, oh, this would be connected. It would imply that this would be solved within the model. But the argumentation in like dualism is simple, is that subjective experiences have never been fully explained completely in a sense. How does this occur, the occurrence of this occurring? The argumentation for neural activities being in a sense that it connects to this is just as simple. Oh, these two things connect, right? Since these two things connect, this was fully explained. But that's just completely false because Like I said again, while it can connect, like I said, while the soul and the body can connect, the mind and the body can connect. It doesn't imply, while both properties are the same, it also doesn't imply that these things that is being completely explained as to occurrence as to why this is in the case when it comes to like dualism and physicalism. But yeah, like, do you just want to conclude it? You can go and give your argumentation, and we can conclude if you want. Is that okay with you?
I mean, I primarily wanted to discuss about logic, but whatever. Let me say something. Wait,
Go
hold
ahead.
on a sec.
I'll
Hold on a sec.
take your time. Take your time.
Do you think there can be a causal interaction between the immaterial mind and and the material body?
The material mind and the material body cause
Immaterial,
relations.
the immaterial mind and the material body. Do you think a causal interaction can happen between both?
Sure, it could connect. They could connect, but it doesn't have to imply they have the same properties or the same activities and contradictories within the proposition that okay, these in
Uh,
the sense that it will contradict and stuff, etc. But
but
yeah, that's just
but
my.
but aware of the fact that those two have different modes of existence, and immaterial thing and a material thing have different modes of existence. Like I said, according to
Yeah, I know.
object theory, immaterial things subsist within a spatial and atemporal location, and material things exist within a spatial temporal location in our reality. The how we perceive. So, how do you think an immaterial mind can drive a material body? Like, and
Okay.
and you are also aware of the fact that um, our mind gets affected by our body. Like we say, we experience different things, we go through change over time, and over
Mm-hmm.
time our mental states change too. So do you think this immaterial things by definition are like aspatial and atemporal, meaning they exist outside of space and time, but our mind changes, our mind reacts to information, and that process happens over time. So what's your contention for that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the main rebuttal you're basically saying is like you're questioning how these connections is possible between the material mind and the
Yes,
material
yes,
body, right?
because a thing that subsists and a thing that exists can have causal interaction too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So hold on. Let me just actually think of the argumentation real quick that you just gave out. But here's the thing, Tono. Right? Here's the thing. When we regards it having relations, etc., if the mind having a disconnection from that, it's just like when we're talking about philosophical view within our reality. Well, obviously, when we're talking about the mind overall changing, developing, etc., and you're saying, oh, it's gonna be corresponds to the our physical body and stuff like that. But it's just like it can when I say that they're in connections, right? When I say that they're in connections, they can imply that while the development in regards while being connected and have causal relations, we won't actually like debunk it being material because there can be in other aspects. You can either argue like atemporal causations. You can argue with that. You can imply that
Yeah,
the
I
something
do
such as like
personally
you
wait,
know
wait. I do
wait
personally
wait
agree.
wait.
I do
Hold on,
personally agree
I would
that
like to say something before you could agree with this. Before you give out your argumentation, I would like to say something with this. We have things such as information, we have things such as linguistics, etc. Well, in regards, we can say that it can be in connection with the physical reality, but obviously we can say that linguistics not are how this is like non-physical. I mean, I'm not sure if you agree with that one, right? But we can also
I don't.
argue, right, that before the universe existed, there was completely nothing. Either way, if you argue the naturalism or the God worldview, where like if
No,
arguing
no, I'm
naturalism, where
personally
there's like an
atheist.
infinite
Personally
density of point in
atheist. But
space.
go on, go on, go
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. In regards to atemporal causation, right? Or aspatial atemporalization. We're just arguing that since in the world we can clearly see that the reductios are certain. The reductios are simple that if the mind conjures thoughts, right, and the mind's conjuring thoughts is in relational to the physical world, you can mostly argue, oh, that would be material, that would be non-physical. But hey, here's the argumentation I gave you. Then how do they connect? How do they have causal relations? You guys say, oh, that could be a contradiction. But wait, if that would be the case, the reductios wouldn't be reductios anymore. It wouldn't have any contradictory propositions anymore. Meaning that those properties that the mind conjures would just like depend on the physical reality, would just be in relation to the physical reality and stuff like that. You can see the clear contradictions, right? So it's either way that if you think that if you argue this, it would just lead to many reductions. It would lead to many contradictions towards these propositions. And if you argue with atemporal causation, you could argue, okay, this is consistency. Because clearly, when we're talking about other things that isn't physical, things that have non-physical properties, yet in regards to physical properties, still have connections, right? In a sense, but it wouldn't actually still say that they have the same properties. Like I said, it will lead to many reductions because of the fact that the properties that conjures from both parties are obviously contradicts each other and reductions each other when we're arguing that they connect in the same physical reality or that in regards to all physical state of affairs. Yeah, that's just gonna be my argumentation,
So
and we can
yeah,
conclude if
wait,
you
wait.
want.
So you do agree on the thing that spatial and atemporal things like numbers or truth values, propositions, they have no causal power. Do you agree with that?
They have no causal power. Well,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
meaning
If I
they have no
hmm,
causal efficacy. They can't do anything. Let's say a number three that exists in an spatial or atemporal location. They can't do anything. They're just
I
there.
like to. Okay.
They have no causal efficacy. Nothing, nada, zip.
I would like to argue, like for example, you have like 1 plus 1 equals 2, three plus
Those
three
are
equals
arguments.
6. The okay, you may say they have like changes and stuff, like they have connections, but obviously we say 3 plus 3, you add 3 against 3, that'll be the three that they would change to the additional would being 6. So if you say that all numbers are all like this, right, and or that number one isn't just in relation to that, but like if you were to say if 1 plus 1 right equals to 2, the 2 exists because there's two ones in it, right? The 2 exists because like there's dualistic one, or like it's just like how do I say it's just binary whatsoever. If it implies that, right? You can argue causations on that, like causal power, but I could say atemporal, aspatial causal power. Yeah, so like can we conclude
Wait,
if
wait.
you want?
I We got to talk about logic after that, but let
You're
me
right,
say
you're right.
something. Let me say something. And when we talk about logic, let's do it in one recording. I think
You're
we
right, you're right, you're right. We'll do it, we'll do it.
we don't need two separate recordings. Anyway, I just want to say
Okay, I got you.
you said linguistics, our language is aspatial or atemporal. You hold to that view. You just said.
I'd, s- I mean, I'm saying that I'll say that kind of agnostic, but affirming that I would say it's kind of sensical in a sense, but I also say that you can have both argumentations from the party itself, but given from how the minds are material and in relation to that with the body's material, etc. And you can say that this is existential within the material reality. Yeah, you can say I guess it will have a causal power, but yeah, it's still linguistic in a sense. You can say non-physical properties,
Uh,
but yeah.
I mean, no, language isn't descriptive, I'd say. I personally hold to the prescriptive view on language. You know what that is?
Prescriptive view on language?
Prescriptive
No.
view states that. So, if you are familiar with uh, the
Is
theory,
this Inko? Wait, is this Inko?
Yeah,
I think
what's
I
up?
noticed. Yo, what's good, bro? Wait, bro's voice changed so much. Holy shit. Oh my god, bro. But you sounded so much different back then when I first met you. But yeah, continue, Tona. My
so,
bad on the
so the
interruption.
prescriptive view on language states that every word denotes an object that either exists on a in a possible world or doesn't that either exists in a possible world or we can express them by in virtue of our language like you say when I say unicorns exist when I say unicorns the object denotes a unicorn let's say
Mm-hmm.
the 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 prescriptive view on language says that the language gives language is something we humans develop to describe the world and it has no it's only mind dependent it has no existence outside of our mind but it is used to describe the mind independent reality we live in
Well, all of this just kind of implies that the when the words denotes the actions, right, and the words denotes all of these. If you say the words are immaterial and the physical actions are obviously material, it just implies that they would have a connection in a case. But it kind of supports my argument on dualism and stuff like that. But all I'm just gonna really say is that you can either believe on all of these things, right? You could either we clearly don't have the same beliefs when it comes to things like such as connections between physical causal power and like immaterial causal power. So do you want to conclude and we could do
Wait,
the
wait.
logic
Let
thing
me
you want?
let me send you a screenshot on something. Uh,
You're right, go ahead, go ahead.
wait, wait. So you personally hold
Indian
you.
Indian Rizhan. Oh my god, I can clearly see it. Okay, but
Okay,
Tono is like better than Rizhan though.
okay, whatever. So let me send you a screenshot of something. You personally hold to Descartes' dualistic view. Let me ask you again.
Hold
Hello.
on, I'm typing. I'm typing. Hold on. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Can you repeat your question?
Um, you said you can defend Descartes' view of substance dualism. Wait,
I mean, I could be a substance dualism. I could be a property dualism. I'm just saying that, like, all of my argumentation is just simple that anything cannot be reduced to physical state of affairs.
what do you think about this? Descartes held the view that the mind, which he sees as an immaterial thing, is connected to our pineal gland, which is a material thing. How do you how do you explain that? Like this.
Yeah, well, we're just going on the same problem as beforehand. Like we're just saying that okay, that the mind is material, the body is material. They have
But
connections and implies causal power. Like a contradictions is from your view, saying that if the mind has causal power, it changes development to the body, implying contradictory. And I said that in my position, that also implies other contradictory reductios and stuff like that to the argumentations. Like for example, we have like I'm just gonna like make it simple repetition since I don't want to completely reiterate what I just said earlier. Like for example, we have to say that like Leprechaun, Santa Claus, or just even holding the belief, right, that Apple can exist and not exist at the same time, completely independent external from physical reality. If arguing that it can be reduced to physical state affairs, and argue that all of these things are in regards to objective material reality, which while being subjective just contradicts the position in itself. If affirming that all of those are that the mind conjures exist to the material reality or have connection to it in a sense that argues that the mind would be material or just it's can be explained to physical state of affairs, then just redux shows the argumentation to that. But the secondary argumentation that I also like to give out is that it could be either explained by temporal causation or just either argues that if you believe this or if you don't believe this or not. But if it is says that this kind of supports the argumentation that the entire view of mind and body kind of like follows up with the events currently that we have, right? Humans have minds and they can conjure thoughts like this, and they're obviously the mind's connected to the body. So we're talking about these views in a sense that while this is existential and coincides with the argumentation and the conclusion of this,
Uh,
then all I'm really saying
what
is
do you
that
think
we,
it
we
means
can't
to
really
be
like reach
connected?
to this
What do
conclusion.
you think it means to be connected? Connected by a node, and you need something that can connect both sides. What do you think?
Well, yeah, we can connect to things, right? Yeah, we can agree to that, right? We can connect to things. But the thing that you're arguing is something is not physical. The other thing is physical, so you can't connect them specifically. That's mostly your argumentation. If I'm correct or not, I don't know. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I'm here is saying is that that arguing if this is contradictory to the mind being immaterial or not just leads reductios to the point, right? To the
Yes.
our materiality. And if we don't grant that, well, right, there's been argumentations of a temporal causation. But here's the thing: we would have to specifically debate on a
Uh,
temporal
I
causation, which
especially
is
wait,
just
wait, wait.
meta
Let
debate.
me clear something. Let me clear something. When it comes to atemporal causation, I think some atemporal things, like I mentioned earlier, propositions, truth values, etc., etc., have no causal power. But atemporal things, like wait, hold on, 1 minute, hold on 1 minute. My mom is calling. 1 minute.
Yeah, go ahead, take your time, bro. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. This has been a very fun debate, bro. I'm enjoying this. Tone
Bro.
is very good. I'm enjoying this good. Tone is very good to discuss with. We should probably do this more often. W Tono.
Yeah, ask Inca, bro. Inca,
No, no, Inko, don't bring that shit up, bro. That was like 2 years ago. I looked so ugly at that time. Not even gonna lie. But I'm a
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
completely
Axiom.
different
okay, okay,
person now.
okay.
Yeah, Axiom. Do you debate
Yeah,
theory of
my
truth?
mom just called. She's calling me for not responding to her calls. Whatever.
uh,
Yeah, Axiom.
Oh yeah,
Debate theory of truth.
Anyway, like I was saying,
theory of truth, like things like pragmatic, or like fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, pragmatism
Yeah,
correspondence. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, not really, but I have argued it once because some random nigga that I debated fiction with said, "What theory of truth does this statement occur?" Like, bro, are we fucking serious, bro? What the Oh my god, that was really funny as hell. But no, not specifically. But I have argued against it once. I'm not sure,
Alright. Yeah.
but
Fair
yeah.
enough.
temporal causation, aka metaphysical change, is possible, but things like uh, propositions, truth values, etc., that are atemporal, don't have causal power. But um, let's atemporal things like angels or gods. In if are you a Thomist? Are you a Thomist? By the way,
I don't think about Thomas. Oh my god, my fucking throat hurts, bro. Holy shit! No, no way this shit is coming back to me.
Thomism or in scholastic philosophy, things like God or angels are spatio-temporal, but they do hold causal power. Like angels,
Mm-hmm.
angels, they're said to be relative pure actuality, while they are said to be purely actual, but their essence is not identical to their existence under a Thomistic view.
Uh,
So
um,
I don't personally hold to Thomism
okay.
because I'm a Muslim, of course. Anyway,
Okay. I mean, we know that. I've seen the screenshots of you and your girlfriend. But wait, let's not talk about that, right? Let's not bring that up right now.
okay. Anyway. So, you wanna discuss? Have a little discussion on logic.
Yeah, we, we can conclude on this point, right? So we can conclude because clearly it
I
just
don't
implies that, yeah.
I don't also
Do you
wanna
want to
argue
conclude?
this. Anyway, yes, conclude. Let's talk about logic.
Uh,
That's it. Different
yeah,
form of
Loki just
discussion.
kind of. All right, so logic. Wait, what about that temporal infinitism argument?
Nah,
Debate.
uh, 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 don't think we can discuss infinitesimal sometime later. Let's discuss logic for today. Okay.
What type of what do you mean? What kind of logic? Like, do you
Like I wanna ask, do you think logic is prescriptive or descriptive?
hold on? Let me just send something to Inko real quick
Okay.
before I
So yeah, Inko is a rising star. He debated secret yesterday. I uploaded it
Shut
on
up.
my second channel.
Oh no, they argue in secret, right? What do you guys think of secret, by the way? Yo,
He's
watch.
decent. He's decent.
Yo, watch this. Watch this. Yo, Inko, watch this. My face is in there. That ugly face of me and that current face of me. It's, watch it, bro. Watch it, bro. It's funny
Yeah,
as hell, bro.
okay, Secret, but people clown on Secret, but he's not as bad as everyone says. Like people
Yeah,
say
you're
he's
right.
fucking terrible, but he's not as bad as everyone says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not bad. Like people
I
He
just
just
kind
meta
of hate
debates.
him.
He just meta debates.
I'd personally say secret is somewhere at tier three. Let's see, around tier three or high tier three.
Nigga, Axiom, what the hell am I watching right now?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, you see my
What
cute
the
little
hell,
face
man?
and my ugly old goblin face, bro. Like my hair was receding, bro, when I was like fucking 14. That shit was so ugly, bro.
Bro,
Aren't you 17
Damn
now?
it.
All right, so
Alexam,
Tono,
do
let's
you
get back.
run Alexam, do you run applied ethics?
Have I
No.
won applied ethics?
Yeah.
Yeah, back then I debated applied ethics before. I mean, like if you know some things such as abortion and some other topics with applied ethics.
Do you want to debate applied ethics sometime?
I mean, yeah, sometimes if I'm not, if I'm bored, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Tono, let's get
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
the point. When it
Okay.
comes to like logic, all I really know about wait, before we continue, like all I'm like argue about logic because like I don't really debate logic sometimes, right? But all I really know is that things such as the laws of logic you cannot contradict the laws of logic, and
So
classical logic is like that's just classical logic, obviously. When we're talking about like um, x and not x can exist at the same time, and the property x has cannot have non-existential property. It would get contradictory to itself, like and that's just very much all I really need to know about logic. Like when I say
but
all I really need to know, because like I don't mostly debate on logic, but
so
yeah,
yeah,
that's
so you basically hold a descriptive view on logic, right?
I guess you can say descriptive. Yeah. What do you mean?
Because
Yeah, I guess you can
the
say that.
pres or do you hold a prescriptive view? Because the prescriptive view asserts that formal systems in logic are only used for valid reasoning, like to deduce conclusions from premises. But
Oh,
the descriptive views on logic asserts that the laws of logic are real. They apply to the external reality.
oh
Hello?
wait, what do you mean by external reality? Like something that just completely external to our universe?
No, the entirety of existence, all of
Oh,
reality.
oh, oh. So you just mean reality as a whole then?
Yes, yes.
Because like I got confused when you said external reality, because we all know what external means, and we
I
also know
mean,
what reality means. So yeah,
the mind independent reality. So the laws of logic apply to the reality there. So, but that view is kind of vague because one can hold the view that some formal systems of logic are invalid, but the other one is valid. That's where the logical pluralist view emerges.
logical pluralist. Wait, let's just get. Do you know paraconsistency logic, right? I'm sure you know this
Yes,
because
yes,
you're
yes. So,
knowledge more
yeah,
knowledgeable than me.
yes, yes. The
Yeah. So
paragon
like
system.
it,
Yeah,
it's like the
some
paraconsist.
contradictions can obtain in that formal systems of logic. Yes, I personally
Yeah.
think.
So
I personally
it's
think.
an informal classical logic. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, you
yes.
can go ahead. Sorry, my bad, my bad, my bad. Sorry on that one. Yeah, you can go ahead and argue.
No, I'm not trying to argue. I'm just here to discuss about logic and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I personally think that different formal systems of logic can be valid. Sometimes classical logic can fail under some views. Like classical logics, you can say classical logic fails to explain some quantum phenomenon or things like that. At that time, you can say intuitionistic logic or paraconsistent logic or relevance logic can be more apt to reality. That's the logical pluralist view. They are they
So
are more apt to reality. They have more, those formal systems have more explanatory power, which is a theoretical virtue. Therefore, we should go
wait,
by, we should be subscribed to those formal systems.
wait. So let's just okay. Let us like make this clear, right? So you think that classical logic can fail in some aspects, or like in okay. Can you like name me some aspects of those things real quick?
Um, like say the probabilistic nature of reality. Have you heard of that?
Probabilist
Probabilistic.
probabilistic nature or real? Yeah, probabilistic. What do you mean by probabilistic nature of reality? Like
So so it so have you heard of the um what do you say?
I mean, we're called probabilistic nature of reality. Like like uh in regards to like probability and stuff, and like the nature of reality and stuff, like it relates to possible worlds or something. That's just
No,
all
no,
I
no,
really
no,
get to know, like model
no.
phase or model
That's-
scopes within reality,
No, no,
like
not
the model scopes within the natures of reality.
no, no, not about that. It asserts that have you heard of Laplace's demon?
No, like I said, I'm not a knowledge
So
demon like you, Tono. You're a
no,
knowledge demon. I'm not.
no, the Laplace's demon asserts that if we know the position and speed of every particle in the universe, we could determine the future with 100% accuracy. But the probabilistic nature of reality completely destroys that view. So the Schrodinger's equation asserts that reality, how we see, it's not made of particles. It's basically made of ghosts, I'd say, in a in a funny manner. So the particles, they exist as ripples through space. So one particle can exist in many places at once. So according to the law, law of excluded middle P or not P. So but it the law of excluded middle fails in that case. So the particle is there and not there at the same time. So such quantum phenomenon can violate classical logic, but I'm kind of agnostic on that because empirical sciences can be subject to change, but this is prima facie justified because that's the
All right.
latest information we have.
All right. So don't get me wrong. Obviously, I don't have knowledge to this logic thing and stuff. But like when we're talking about particles, are you simply saying that like all these like say that particles is there, not there at the same time at one specific point? Like, are you simply implying that the particle is just not present at all, not present and present at the same time
Yes,
at that
it's there and not there at the same time. It's like at different places at different times. At the same
different
time, sorry.
places at different times?
At different times. No, no, sorry. That's a blunder. At different places at the same time.
Well, yeah,
Like I said,
we know because like there's more particles than one though. Like, are we implying one
no,
particle identities like one entity is just like
the
relating
same
in one
particle,
physical space?
the same particle at different places at the same time.
The same particle, right? But like there's more than one particle. Am I correct? Obviously, that's true.
Yeah, but
Particles,
yeah, but
um,
the same particle is there and not there. That's basically the view.
the same particle is there and not there, and the justification for this is
Is the
what?
Schrodinger's equation. Would you like me to
Yeah,
send
yeah.
you how
Educate
the
me on
equation?
Schrodinger's equation.
Wait.
Yeah, educate me on that. Educate me on that.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Schrodinger's. Hold on. So basically, hold on.
Oh my god, this is funny as hell.
Yeah, like I said. So the Schrodinger's equation. Wait. Hello.
Okay, okay, bro.
So,
Oh my god, I'm laughing with it. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, holy shit.
so the Schrodinger's equation is basically the simplified version of Schrodinger's equation is basically IH into partial differentiation of psi is equal
Yeah,
is equal
give
to
me a moment, my brother. Wait, give me
Hamiltonian
a moment,
into
my
psi.
brother is like telling me.
Okay.
Can you go away, please? Cause like I'm debating, bro. Yeah,
Uh,
I'll watch your Minecraft
Your,
video later.
your brother knows you to be on Discord.
Yeah, she does. She knows.
uh,
He said, "Are you
my
debating?" And I said, yeah, I debate. Can we play Minecraft? Yeah, let's play Minecraft.
my
Yeah, that
cou-
type of
my cou-
conversation.
my cousin wants to be a Discord divided too. He got inspired by me.
Okay,
Well, what?
continue, Tono.
Yo,
I'm sorry, my
Okay,
brother
bro, what the
interrupted
fuck
the
are you?
so,
discussion.
sorry.
What kind
Okay,
of weird
so
ass games do you guys play?
the the simplified version of Schrodinger's equation is basically IH into partial differentiation of psi is equal H into psi. So basically, I is basically the complex unit, which says these particles operate within a complex dimension which we cannot perceive directly. H is basically the pixel size of the universe, which is basically the Planck constant.
Mm-hmm.
We can perceive reality smaller. We can't perceive things smaller than that, which is basically the small h, and the partial differentiation of psi. Psi is used to denote the wave function. A wave function is the mathematical description of a quantum state within an isolated quantum system. It basically it basically describes how the particles exist in ripples through space. yeah, and on the other hand, on the right hand side of the equation, we have the big H, the Hamiltonian equation, which denotes the total energy of the universe, and after that multiplied by psi. So this equation asserts that particles exist as ripples through space, and they don't they exist at a superposition basically. So the particles are there and not there at the same time in a superpositionist framework, and that's basically it.
Oh my god. I'm just not really educated on science, like molecules, molecular structures, etc. and stuff like that. Like this is just kind of frying my brain low key. It's like the type Gojo infinite domain and stuff like that. So I'll just like I'll just like tell what I understand from your, general solution of the Schrodinger's wave equation, right? Is that they operate on a complex dimension is from
Yes,
what I heard, like with molecules, right? And we also
the
you're
particles.
I'm sure you're aware of this. You're definitely aware of omnipresence, right? I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are, bro.
Yes,
Yeah, we
I'm
are aware of omnipresence.
omnipresence. A thing exists at
Mm,
all the place, but I personally think omnipresence is contradictory to classical theism, because classical theism asserts that God has no parts, but and and is beyond space and time. But if omnipresence were to be true, then God would have spatiotemporal parts to intersect the universe. I don't think omnipresence is coherent with most philosophical doctrines.
yeah, with the okay, so like from when we talk about molecules and stuff like that, like that makes up the materiality. Well, when we talk about omnipresence, it's mostly one of the argumentations are from that. I'm not saying mostly. Let's just say some argumentations are. My bad on that one. That's a retarded blunder. I chose wrong choice of words. But basically, let's say that if we define God as existence, right? Existence obviously exists. Fucking, I don't even know, bro. So God exists everywhere if you define God as existence, right? So we
Yes,
imply that one particle can exist at two places at the same time. You imply a fact that
yes,
particles are in relation to the how this is like the fucking uh oh my god, bro, like just the entire view of reality. The molecules are just in checks when we're like talking about
no,
complex dimensions,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it just could imply at that time, right, because of their
They
higher specific hierarchy, right?
Okay,
It just
okay, okay. Sorry, I forgot to mention something. They do exist at different places for a specific amount of time, but that by the time we perceive them, the ghostly reality becomes concrete. They, yeah, the particles at that time, the particles exist at one place. That is why we can, yeah, that is why we can go do the impossible. We can't go through things. The superposition basically breaks down at that time.
wait. So
But
let's just make this clear, right? The law of skew include the middle something. It could be X or not X. It cannot be it cannot be like a third party from either X or not X is an optional to the law of excluded middle. So saying that X it's at some place, right, and X is at another place, clearly you'd say, okay, X is either there or he's not there. But if he's there but
he's
also
there and
not
not
there,
there at the same
yeah,
time.
yeah, 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 he's there but also not there at the same time, which is like you say the contradictions to the law of excluded middle, right? From what I'm understanding is if molecules or particles operate on a complex dimension, right, implying the same entity, regards can be from two different places at the same time and has connections within space. I wouldn't exactly say, okay, this would just contradict the law of excluded middle, because like when we're talking about other propositions that is completely unexplained and it cannot be occurrence to the physical reality, such as if an apple um exists or not exist at the same time, or
Yeah.
that you can have an arm or not have an arm at the same time. If you
Yes.
have an arm, it contradicts the proposition that you don't have an arm. If you don't have an arm, it contradicts the position that you have an arm, right?
Yes.
So you won't be able to imagine that clearly. That's very obvious. That doesn't exist in our reality, right? All of us have arms, right? If you other question the philosophical view, oh, you don't actually have an arm. You already contradict the law of the law of excluded middle. But you say, oh, well, my arm is right here, and it would just contradict that you don't have an arm, etc., etc. So I could just say that via what you posited, right? That the molecules just or the particles just operate on a different just a different way that how we perceive or how the occurrence are that we usually
No,
live on, right?
uh,
It's just my
yes,
argumentation because like
yes and
if
no.
we
Wait.
yeah yeah
Like
you're
you
right
said,
yeah go ahead.
following to what you said, yes and no. I would say, but um, they at a specific time they are there and not there. At that time, it does violate the law of excluded middle. But at, by the time we perceive them, the ghosty reality becomes solid. It becomes concrete. At that time, it doesn't actually violate. At that time, the particle is at one place only. But prior to that, it was in a superposition. That's basically what quantum mechanics posits.
Okay, but yeah, like supervision and quantum theory. So hold on, just one question, right? You, if this is a theory, and do you think it is valid? Do you think that this has been proven like completely like quantum mechanics? Because like from what I've been hearing, quantum mechanics is just it's just a very complex theory that hasn't been proven to scientifically exist, or you know.
So, some aspects of the of quantum mechanics has not been explained, such as the universal wave function, which you have heard of many worlds interpretation theory, pretty much.
Yeah, when
I
you
mean,
were, yeah, I'm gonna use this against my argument on Dragon Ball, bro.
so so, so
Okay.
the
Yeah,
many
this is
worlds
my, I'm like,
the many
yeah, the
worlds
many worlds interpretation. Yeah, many worlds interpretation. I've argued this on Dragon Ball before. So like, but isn't like the branches and fucking
so
infinite
the many worlds
dimensions and stuff and the like Schrodinger's cat theory or either a fucking cat's dead or not dead at the same time. That
yes
type, right?
yes
Right?
yes the many worlds interpretation theory assumes that the universal wave function is real. So basically, the ghostly reality never becomes complete. It it makes different branches of our own reality, which is the multiverse, the type 3 multiverse.
Yeah, I know about the Type 3 multiverse. I mean,
So
I've
it
used this
assumes
before,
that the
but
universal wave function is real,
wait, you said it's is real or isn't real?
is real. It
So you hold the
so
belief that
so
it
the
is real.
particles
So
never go to a uniposition from a superposition. It stays in the superposition. So that's basically.
okay, but
But
well, like I said,
this is
the
yeah.
con.
So these are the personally the reasons for which I think intuitionistic logic, relevance logic, or paraconsistent logic are more reality apt than classical logic. But classical logic is still a niche tool, I'd say, for reasoning.
Okay, well, maybe you apply this to that, but like still the same. I would argue the classical logic can still apply. Like how do I say this? Like universally, and this could either be explained in a
Yes,
somewhat way that doesn't contradict the laws of excluded middle. Because, like I said, given the fact, right? Like given some fucking leeways on your point, there will be multiple a plethora of propositions that if contradicts the law of excluded middle, uh obviously it just like the thing in itself just negates both propositions that it argues that this exists or not. It can, we're talking about sciences, what you just explained to me, like they operate in a complex dimension. From what I'm really understanding, since I'm not educated in science, that these just operates in a very high manner in regards to our physical understanding of the view, like our usual physical understanding of our reality and stuff like that. It could just imply things like this, just like doesn't contradict the law of excluded middle. But like as is given again, given the fact if this argument in itself is valid, you could argue that some alternatives, right, that can also hold the same value, but also contradictory to that and just doesn't really exist whatsoever. Same way as, like I said, obviously, if you have like an apple existing and not existing at the same time, the apple will have presence there and have absence there at the same time. Which obviously, if you say that it isn't the case, which both properties that the apple attained to completely contradicts the proposition that its presence there or its absence there at the same time. And yeah, like I said, none of that is can literally be explained if that is to be the case. Contradictions towards the law of excluded middle. I don't think you can tell me or explain to me how an apple can exist and not exist at the same time at one specific position. I really don't. But yeah, that's just really what I think of my. That's just really
Um,
my input to what you've told me,
um,
right?
this
Yeah.
quantum phenomenon work on the molecular level. I'd say they don't they don't apply to complex objects like apples or humans. But yeah, actually they do on a quantum level, but not as a whole that we can perceive. But whatever. So I
Hmm.
personally think the prescriptive view of logic is also good. I'd say
Okay.
if you think that no formal system of logic can be reality, but that's not my view. I'd say
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So.
Anyway,
All
so
right. So.
do you
Yeah, that
wanna
was a
stop
good
the recording?
debate.
Do you wanna?
Yeah.
Very nice
Yeah.
debate.
We can just conclude the debate. I would
Very
like to say something though. I would like to say something though.
yeah
Uh. Yeah. It was a really fun debate, bro. I
yeah
really
yeah.
enjoyed it, bro.
Please,
You're
I
very
enjoyed it
knowledgeable,
too.
man. Like you're very knowledgeable. I feel kind of embarrassed because you kind of knowledge gap me. Like like I said, I don't have knowledge at all. Knowledge is not my forte, bro. Knowledge is not my forte. Like and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
You actually remember Supreme? Yeah, I remember who Supreme.
We just had beef with Supreme a few days. One of my friends
Yeah,
had beef.
bro. Bro, I used to be friends with Supreme. I'm sure this nigga Inko knows that. I know he knows my history. I used to be friends with Supreme.
You used
But
to
I
defend
just
that guy.
yeah, I used to defend him, bro. Like low key, that was when I was very retarded too. Like I don't know how to debate at the time. But
Eh,
Supreme is
Yo, bro,
terrible,
bro,
bro.
bro. Axiom, would you like to stop the recording and slide the rec?
What?
Oh yeah. Wait, what if Supreme listen to this? Nah, let him hear it, bro. Okay, let's just save the rec. Hold on.
Okay, save the rec. Yeah.
Wait, how do I do this? Can someone do it for me? Cause like, I don't wanna do it like, I don't wanna like, somewhat fail it somewhat. Like, I don't know how to word it. Yeah, Dodd, do you know how to do this? Dodd, do you know how to do this?
Maybe
Can you like, can
uh,
you like fix the rec?
stop your
Cause
current
like save the
recording.
rec.
Oh, then let me look some shit up. Craig, how do I use Craig? What? Listen, I don't know. Okay.
That was the
Oh, okay,
cutest
okay,
fucking
okay.
laugh I ever from this nigga, bro.
Wait,
He
wait.
don't know, okay? Hey
How
yo,
do you
bro.
do this?
Oh, I can't do it. Okay. Wait, hold on. Who made this server?
Wait, let me just save. How do I do this? Wait,
Slash
stop current
stop.
recording. No, don't
Yeah,
stop
slash
it.
stop.
It might not
Nigga,
work.
Uh,
my nigga. This is not power. Okay, you don't need
stop
to
it.
save it. You just stop it. It'll just DM you the recording.
Okay, do it. You do it, bro.
I
I,
can't. I
was,
need manager permissions.
I swear, if this crack bot doesn't work, I'm actually gonna jump off a building, bro. Like I
That's why you
did.
should use Power instead of Craig.
Pawa was being retarded. Like he was having an existential crisis. He won't join VC and record everything.
Uh, now,
Yo, what about Supreme, by the way? What happened to Supreme? What's going on there, nigga? He lost his channel, by the way. Let's talk about Supreme. He
I
lost
don't know
his
what happened to
2K
that guy.
channel.
Oh god. Dude, was he an actual pedo or is that like fake?
The thing was been proven many times he's a pedo. Like he supposedly sent a fake dick pic that people said it was mine. No, it's not. Like that shit was small as hell. Like who would send that
Nigga,
shit?
what?
How do we know
How
it's
did
not
you
yours?
get like a fake one?
Cause I'm
yo,
packing, bro. I'm packing.
You have proof?
yeah, get JK here. He has the parts here. He can only stop the recording.
Wait, who has the recording?
JK,
Oh wait, who?
Uh,
JK.
someone with perms can stop the recording. I can't.
I I have perms. I'm the one who made the server.
Okay,
How do I
okay.
do it? How
Why
do
Then
don't
I
you
do
just
stop.
it?
give someone else perms?
Then just write down slash stop. It stops.
Should I just say write down stop in chat?
Slash
No,
stop.
nigga.
Slash stop.
Um
I think you
It says
deleted it.
stop. Oh my fucking god! No way. No way! Please don't tell. No way! Please, bro. No way.
Check
No
DM,
way, bro.
bro.
No DMs from me either, bro. I didn't get a
Honestly,
DM
that's
from
Antonio.
Craig, but
Honestly, that's Antonio.
is there? Well, is there something going on here? Or like,
I think the recording's gone.
I
are we
you
Yeah,
can
serious?
yeah.
wait. You don't need to DM. I think you can access the previous recordings.
How do I do? How do we do that?
Wait, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Let me
Oh, let's talk about truth now.
um just to write down
Yeah,
slash recordings
yeah. So,
Oh damn! I
like,
got it! I got it! I
I
got
think,
it. May 3,
slash
12. Yeah, I got
recordings.
it. You
yeah.
see it?
I personally
I'll
don't
download. I
slash
will
record.
download it and I'll post it. I'll download
Okay,
it. I'll post
okay,
it. I kind of.
yeah. Give me the recording too. Give me the recording too, bro.
Yeah,
Bro,
you're. You're right. You're right.
this
You're
is a
right. You're right.
thing with
Give me
yeah,
the recording
but this
too.
is not even right.
In DMs or here. Give it in DMs. I think.
How do I do this, by the way? Cause like I just press download and like nothing's currently showing me.
Send a screenshot. Send a screenshot of.
Forward? I can't forward it. It all it says is copy text. I can't forward it. It only says copy text. Okay. Let me send you the screenshot, huh?
Bro, wait, is it just me or does like Tona's profile picture like look really weird? It's like a square while the rest are just circles.
Guys, Dave was the best debater, bro. For real, for real.
Hey guys, shut the fuck up.
I think the best debater is Packer, yo.
Yeah, I did. I clicked the download button. It takes me to a website. Yeah, but like, where do I download it? Where do I? Should I just give you perms, bro? All it says is download avatars and this. Albert and Einstein on the case, bro. Type shit. Yo, by the way, Tono, Akano had been saying some shit about you. He said that you betrayed him and stuff like that. Apparently, yeah. Bro. Okay, I mean, why would it matter to him though? Like, not Tron's like fucking view is just not accurate sometimes. Not gonna lie, I fuck with Tron. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I don't know why like Akino takes that too seriously.
Yo, Tona, why don't you debate Hero?